Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! How one ensures their legacy of going down in history for being the greatest content creator of all time is through the relatable content that they create. And I've had the honor of being a part of something so special because of each and every one of you. Many of whom who have been with me from the very first video that I ever created. Because in the very first video, it all began with a promise. That promise was that I was going to upload a video about Descendants of Zombies every day for the rest of my life. And while that may seem like a long time, pretty much forever for all of you, I've had the time of my life because you guys are so appreciative of me and you've carried this appreciation with you for what feels like forever. You've never quit on me, you've always been there for me, and you've always listened to what I had to say about your favorite stars, like Kylie, Freya Sky, Malia Baker. These are conversations I've loved having with you and I've looked forward to having with you. Because every single time that I've ever pushed record, all I've ever wanted to do is touch your hearts. In some way or somehow, I've managed to do that through the stories I've shared with you, through being a Disney fan, feeling very passionate about Descendants of Zombies, a passion that has undeniably brought the world that much closer together. And I've lived every single moment that I had to share with each and every one of you, because no matter who we are, we all have a story. And we want more than anything else in the world that feeling of knowing that our story is being seen and heard by more people than perhaps ever given credit for. That's why many of us create YouTube. Years ago, it was very difficult to put your video out into the algorithm, because it was all about who had the shortest video and who could upload their video the fastest in 2009. I will never ever forget that. It was very difficult to become an established content creator. But it was never about staying ahead of somebody else for me. It was always about relating to you and having these conversations with you where I could touch your heart. Because if I couldn't touch your heart, then I didn't want to be a part of these conversations at all. Conversations we had about Hannah Montana. Conversations we had about Camp Rock. Conversations we would eventually have about Descendants of Zombies. Conversations that some way or somehow would always touch your heart. I felt very passionate about people like Kylie. I had issues with how critics felt about her and how they were making her feel, and I wanted Kylie to know that, hey, everything was going to be okay. You know something? If I could have been that one friend that Kylie could have called every night of her life just to be ensured that everything was going to be okay, I would have took myself up in that opportunity just as fast as you can snap your fingers. Because if you can be that one person that answers the phone every single time your best friend calls you, then you truly are their best friend. You truly have established a connection like these stars of Descendants of Zombies have been able to do. I remember being the biggest Disney Channel fan ever. I remember coming home from school, and before I ever wanted to do anything, I would throw my book bag down on the floor, and my mom would get mad with me, really mad with me, because all I ever wanted to do was watch Disney Channel, watch DuckTales, watch Spintails, watch Hannah Montana and Wizards. Because I saw something special in that generation, a generation that was often referred to as Disney Channel's golden era, which we are celebrating in 2026, celebrating events like milestones like the 20th anniversary of Hannah Montana. I will never forget being a Hannah Montana fan, and I will never, most of all, forget being a fan of Descendants of Zombies, because that was the franchise that led me to all of you and gave me a chance of sharing my story with you and being heard and seen by more people than ever before. Because of all of you, more people on YouTube know who Jonathan Clarke on YouTube is. Oh no, I know how catchy that song is. But more people on YouTube do know who Jonathan Clarke is and have heard his voice. My voice has become one of the most recognizable voices in the history of Descendants of Zombies, a part of the soundtrack of Descendants of Zombies, because I've loved every single opportunity I've ever had to share a thought or a prediction that came with being a fan. Because no matter who we are, we've all had predictions about who the villain could be next in Descendants. We've all had a prediction about what's coming next for Victor and Nova's love story, which is going to be something far more beautiful than perhaps ever given credit for. I know a lot of people haven't wanted to give zombies much of a chance, but I wanted to be one of those guys that wanted to make an exception to how people felt and give them more of a chance about the story of Victor and Nova, because they were beautiful characters that really touched all of our hearts. I think for anyone to say that Descendants of Zombies never touched their heart, they would be lying to you emphatically, because I think that no matter who we were, Descendants of Zombies touched our hearts in so many unimaginable ways. Maybe that has something to do with how I've always had this appreciation for theater and bringing things like music to life, because there's always this way of how music has a way of healing somebody, which is something that I can give music a profound amount of credit for from now until the end of my existence. Because if you really pay attention to what music does, music has always had a way of healing you. No matter what you're going through, it helps you understand what's happening around you, what's happening between yourself and your friends, or in a relationship you may be caught up within. Music has always had this way of understanding and relating to us, and that's why Freya Sky's music has become so popular, why Kylie Cantrell has ever been more excited of releasing her upcoming album, which I'm so appreciative of. Because I watched Kylie Cantrell grow into a superstar, having to deal with the pressures of Hollywood and Disney, because Disney put them under a considerable amount of pressure that I wanted to do something about. I wanted people like Kylie Cantrell to know that everything was going to be okay. And through you guys believing in this YouTube channel with all of your hearts, that's what we were able to do. We were able to create something special, and we were able to have the chance of being a part of something special that we never ever forgot. And I will never ever forget any of you for the profound impact that you've had on my heart. I've loved sharing with you my story about how I watched Kylie Cantrell grow up and become this incredibly fearless person, this incredibly strong person, because she is far more stronger than perhaps ever given credit for, or how many people realize. I myself became a stronger person because of how Kylie Cantrell really morphed into this very powerful person who became the strongest person in the world to me. I will never live long enough to be able to tell Kylie Cantrell how appreciative I've been of how strong of a person she's become and how much she's meant to each and every one of your hearts. It's been the greatest honor of my life watching Kylie Cantrell grow into the person that she became, and I've always wanted to be part of something special that had anything to do with Kylie Cantrell, along with all of your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars, because not everybody was a fan of Kylie Cantrell. You may have been a fan of Ruby Rose Turner like myself, because you saw a genuinely sweet person in Ruby Rose Turner and what she had to offer to the Descendants franchise. Even though her time with the franchise was very short-lived, I truly do believe that Ruby Rose Turner's contributions to this franchise was unbelievable and undeniably a powerful representation of what a character should have represented. It was a character that really demonstrated how much further kindness can take a person in this lifetime, and I felt more than honored. The one thing I will never ever forget is being so honored to have been a part of Ruby Rose Turner's rise and ascension to the top of Disney Channel and Disney Plus, for being one of the most powerful characters and by far one of the most strongest people I've ever seen in my life. You know, I've read a lot of stories about how Ruby Rose Turner was also under a lot of pressure. She reminded me of Emily Osmond, who had to attend public school while filming episodes of Hannah Montana, which was very difficult for her to have to do. But she was able to handle the pressure that came with being a successful Disney Channel star very powerfully. Ruby Rose Turner morphed into a stronger person. She was always working out all the time. She was always trying to stay in shape. And I thought of how Ruby Rose Turner morphed into this beautiful person because of how she drew inspiration from stars of the past, and how she was always a fan of High School Musical, Descendants, and Hannah Montana herself. She always had the biggest crush in the world on Justin Bieber, and I honestly thought that was the most adorable quality she ever had. She was never afraid to let anybody know who she had a crush on or who she loved with all of her heart. And I think that Ruby Rose Turner has come further than a lot of her critics suggested that she ever would or ever believed that she would. I always believed in Ruby. I just want to put that out there. I always believed in Ruby, no matter how she felt about life or how her opinions may have been different. I always wanted to give her a chance. I always saw something special in Kylie. So if you're a fan of Kylie watching this video, I've always wanted you to know that I've got your back out of love and support, because you guys have always seemed to have mine. No matter how many critics I've faced because of these videos I've created over the years, over time, because time is the most precious commodity we always have, because we never seem to know how much time we have, and even if we did know how much time we have, it's probably a good thing that we don't know how much time we have, because if we did, we'd probably be scared because we wouldn't know what to do with the time that we had, because we'd realize that it was very limited. But because time is very limited, I think that it comes down to how much we believe in a franchise like Descendants of Zombies that has made it such a phenomenon. Because what's happened here is, you know, we talk about the Hannah Montana 20th anniversary special or the Taylor Swift Eras tour for being such a phenomenon, but what this is really a lifestyle for people, because people feel very passionate about Descendants of Zombies. You know, it's been a decade past since Descendants of Zombies became a part of our lives, just about a decade for zombies and over a decade since Descendants became a very valued part of all of our lives. And we're still having these conversations a decade and a half later. We're still feeling ever so passionate about the futures of your favorite stars. You know, Hannah Montana was pretty much just a phase, something that just kind of happened for no apparent reason because of its music and how Miley Cyrus was able to bring it to life. And we're still having these conversations about Descendants of Zombies. These are conversations I pretty much would love to have for at least the next decade and a half, I would love to still be sitting here 10 years from now talking to you guys about how you were fans of Descendants of Zombies when you're probably 10 years older. Because when we get to the 20th anniversary of Descendants of Zombies, you guys are going to be a lot older. But trust me when I tell you that when you're a lot older, you will have a greater appreciation taken away from Descendants of Zombies and what Descendants of Zombies has meant to your hearts. You will all be stronger people, and you will feel ever so stronger about Descendants of Zombies, because the one thing that Descendants of Zombies has done for us all is bring us that much closer together. We've been so excited about the Worlds Collide Tour. We've been so excited to have these conversations about quality control. I have been so excited to have these conversations and host these conversations every night on YouTube with all of you. And it's been some of the most exciting times and most unforgettable memories of my life, memories that I will forever and always cherish. You know, if I was in possession of a time capsule, I think I would freeze these moments. I would want to freeze these moments because I know that these are moments that we will never have the chance of experiencing ever again. And because we will never have the chance of experiencing these moments ever again, I think we can offer encouragement that people like Kylie and people like Ruby have been the strongest people in the world. You know, it really breaks my heart when I see them crying all the time because of what critics on YouTube have made them feel about a performance they gave probably 3 nights ago. They're sitting at home watching videos of themselves on YouTube and Instagram every night, and I kind of wanted to take that away. I can't lie. I wanted to take that away from them, and I wanted to replace that with a really cool review that would have been posted and created about Descendants of Zombies. And some way or somehow, we together created that, because I could have never created this or done this by myself. It was your contributions and how much you believed in this YouTube channel and how much you believed in me that made this YouTube channel stand out, that made this YouTube channel very different from other YouTube channels that you may have watched. Because I know people have often been very critical about 30-second teaser trailers and rumors that revolve around Kylie Contrell and Malia Baker's friendship because of what happened last summer at the Worlds Collide Tour involving Malachi Burton. I'm not going to get into it, but I think that everybody just looked for something to start a rumor about, and when they finally got it, they turned it into the worst rumors that we had ever read. But, you know, so many people still believe more confidently in Kylie Contrell's abilities as an actress, and somebody who brought a character such as Red to life. More people even believed more in Malia Baker than perhaps ever before. I remember Malia Baker when she was on the Babysitters Club, and I remember her even more when she was a part of the Midnight Society when they did the reboot. Nickelodeon did the reboot of Are You Afraid of the Dark? I may be just saying this because I was the biggest fan of Are You Afraid of the Dark that there ever was. I remember watching the original series and being so excited for the new episodes with Dr. Vink and Mr. Sardo, accent on the dough. He had his own magic shop. And he was the reason why I wanted to open up my own magic shop. And I feel very downhearted that I still, to this very day, have never had the opportunity to open up my own magic shop. Some way or somehow, I've opened up my own EB Games chain that I operate out of my room because I have every video game in existence. But I never had the opportunity to open up my own magic shop, which I would have loved the opportunity to do. 1,000 games later, and over $25,000 later, I have one of the greatest video game collections ever created. So I chose opening up my own EB Game and GameStop location over a magic shop, but who's to say it will never happen for me? Who's to say that between now and the end of my lifetime that we will never experience such things as a zombie apocalypse or an alien invasion? One can only hope for that. And I am more prepared than anybody, because I've been preparing you guys for an alien invasion, either or a zombie apocalypse more than anybody ever has. Because I've taken this thing far more seriously than anybody. I've probably blown it out of proportion. But you know something? Because I've made believers out of all of you, and I've been a believer in it myself, that's what made this YouTube channel so special for everybody. Because they could watch a crazy guy who thought that zombies were going to attack at any moment, come in through his window, do the whole zombie invasion thing. You know, I've always wanted to be in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, but the more that I think about it, I probably think it was the coolest thing ever, and stay home all night playing video games while zombies tried to get in through my window and kill me. Because I think that these are moments that never really have a chance of happening, may never have a chance of happening, but they are moments that you can find time in really appreciating and believing. Because I remember when The Walking Dead first premiered, nobody wanted to give it much of a chance. But I thought it was the coolest thing ever about how it was a show that had thousands of zombies trying to kill you, and AMC had a rave reputation for itself because of it. I mean, before The Walking Dead ever happened, AMC was a TV station that nobody ever took seriously. Nobody even knew what AMC was. And then everybody got bored with the content. And then I remember reading all these ridiculous reviews that AMC was receiving. And then executives at AMC said, we got to do something about this. So they come up with this ridiculous concept of The Walking Dead. I may have been tapping out by season 5, but The Walking Dead brought AMC to life. And it gave AMC a far better reputation than it may have had 20 years ago, because all that was on AMC was pretty much ridiculous programming that never made any sense before The Walking Dead ever happened. And don't get me started on how difficult it was to find a copy of the Walking Dead video game collection. Individually, they used to release video games based off specific seasons of The Walking Dead years ago on the PlayStation 3. And I remember how difficult the game was to find until the whole collection became available on PlayStation 4 many years later. I may have had to order it off Amazon, but I finally obtained it. You know, it's all about, the point being, it's all about how much of a fan you are of something, how much you believe in alien invasions, how much of a chance you want to give to franchises like Descendants of Zombies, and how much you yourself believe that they are the strongest people ever. Undeniably, I've wanted people to know that people like Kylie Cantrell and Freya Sky are the strongest people ever because of what they've had to endure. And they have really become thick-skinned because of how people have felt about them. But you know something, guys? It's your love and support that has got them through every situation they have ever encountered, everything they've had to endure, and from criticism to how people may have felt about them. It's your love and support that has forever and always allowed them to be a part of something special, to share stages with you, opportunities to create magical moments for Descendants of Zombies, and for us to share in these moments with these stars that we feel so strongly about and have forever been dedicated to, because many of us have dedicated our lives to this passion. A passion that could only be described as Descendants of Zombies. You know, I may have been a fan of Miley Cyrus years ago, and I may have been the only guy in the movie theater with 300 girls watching Hannah Montana. The Best of Both Worlds was the catchiest theme song ever. I will admit that to you guys with an open heart and an open mind. But the biggest thing that I ever had the honor to cover out of everything I had the chance to profile for you guys was Descendants of Zombies, because I had so much fun. Because it gave me the chance of meeting all of you. It gave me the chance to share this incredible story with you through the power of these YouTube videos. You know, years ago it was all about if your parents had fast internet to be able to upload your videos the fastest to kind of get your videos out into the algorithm, but it became something so much more for me. It became a chance for me to relate to more people than ever before. Some way or somehow it gave me a chance to touch each and every one of your hearts, and I felt more than honored to be able to do that. I shared you my crazy theories on how alien invasions and zombie apocalypses may have a chance happening more than ever before. But because you guys believed in it just as much as what I did, that's what made these videos so fun and so relatable to so many people, perhaps far more people than ever given credit for. And we got to have more conversations about Kylie and Freya and Malia because their gym regimens were so powerful, and they became such a powerful individual that it was really hard to put into words how far they have come. But watching them come as far as what they have is truly incredible, because years ago you would never hear people like Miley Cyrus or Demi Lovato talking about their gym regimens. It wasn't until 2011 until Demi Lovato became more vocal about it and let people know what she was going through. And it made her a stronger person, and it made fans of Demi even stronger. And it's making fans of Descendants of Zombies stronger all the time, because they are drawing inspiration from these characters. They are joining gyms themselves, joining sports teams, going through workout regimens themselves, and it's so special. And it's been such a huge honor for me to be a part of it, because if I could encourage somebody to follow Descendants of Zombies and fall even more in love with the product than perhaps ever given credit for, that's what's made my job and my work as a YouTuber so worth it every single time. I've loved every single moment that I've ever had a chance to be a part of Descendants of Zombies, and I felt so honored to have the chance to share my story with each and every one of you. And I look forward to having even more conversations with each and every one of you in the very near future, because these conversations that we have about Descendants of Zombies some way or somehow relate to everybody, some way or somehow always bring everybody that much closer together. And it's been my profound honor to bring these videos to life in a far more effective way than any content creator ever has had the chance to bring their videos to life. Thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel time and time again as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. Thank you so much forever and always for choosing these thumbnails, clicking on them, and watching these videos, and for having been with me from the very first video that was ever created here, because it's about your love and your passion and the tremendous heart and the dedication you've always shared with me for Descendants of Zombies. It's allowed my voice to be heard by more people than ever before. It's allowed my videos to have such an incredible reach. And some way or somehow, I've had the chance to relate to more people than ever before through my content because of each and every one of you. Again, from wherever you're watching this video or from wherever you hear my voice this evening, thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel and having made it your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. because having made this your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time has pushed this YouTube channel further out into the algorithm and gives more fans of Descendants and Zombies an even greater chance of finding these videos and becoming an even bigger fan of Descendants and Zombies, who should never be afraid to showcase their passions for Descendants and Zombies. Guys, you should never be afraid to let the world know how you truly feel about Descendants and Zombies, because your heart and your dedication has come such a long way. And I've loved having the honor to be a part of it so many incredible ways. Thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel time and time again as your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel, and forever and always having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time. Thank you so much for having watched this video.